Hello everybody. I'm trying to do a small series about straight razor shaving, and it's because I often get questions about straight razor shaving from people and they ask me a lot of things, and it's difficult to say exactly what people need or not need, because I'm now going to talk a lot of mumble and showing a lot of stuff, but I hope you gonna watch to the end of the video, or not at least a bit in the video, so you understand what I'm talking about. Because when people say I want to start a straight razor shave, and they get information from internet, from YouTube, talking to people and so on, they get so much information about straight razor shaving, what you should have and what you should use, and how you should do things, and how you should do this and do that, and blah blah blah, and everything. And it's very confusing, because it could see like something like this. If I'm talking here, I'm trying to pop up some words from what I'm talking about. So it's going to be a little bit confusing in the beginning, but just hold on, it's going to get better. I'm going to explain it to you later in this video. I try to keep it very simple, but it could be like this. It was like this for me first time I started to get a straight razor, and I was interested to do these straight razor shaves. For the first thing, straight razor, it's a razor blade with a scales on, and there's different kind of razors, different sizes of razors. We're talking about 5/8. Now they're going to pop up things all over the screen here. There are different sizes: 5/8, 6/8, 11/16, 7/8, 8/8, and so on and so on and so on. And everybody's talking, you have to have a 6/8 razor or 5/8 razor. It has to be a hollow round razor. No, a wedge razor is much better. Half hollow is much better than the quarter hollow ones. Now it have to be a wedge razor and so on. And then it have to be a 6/8 razor. That's a half hollow. That's the best razor you can ever get. And these words are flying in the air, and everyone is talking blah blah blah. And then some people say, if you're going to do straight razor shaving, or start with straight razor shaving, you have to get a new razor. And some people say, no, you can get a straight razor from a guy. It's a vintage razor. You can find it very cheap somewhere. You can buy a cheap new razor, a gold dollar razor. Names. Now you should have a Wade and Butcher razor like this. And that's really nice razors. It's great razors. And I got another gold dollar here. This is a great razor. It's smaller and it's better to use, in my opinion, say some people. And some people say, oh, should be a straight razor frame back like this. No, it should be a straight razor that is wedge. And you know, everything is just start to get spinning around in the head. You don't understand anything. And then they was start to talk about it have to be a rounded tip. No, it have to be a square tip. It's better to have that. Or it's a Spanish point. And you still don't understand what 5/6 is and what 6/8 is and so on, and what the custom razor is, and what is he talking about, and talk about scholars and wood and everything, and you don't understand the thing. And then they start to talk about notes here, of course. Wade and Butcher. That's a great razor. Now, C.V. Hellestrand. This razor, C.V. Hellestrand. I'm always talking about C.V. Hellestrand because I like C.V. Hellestrand. J. Hellberg, a Swedish razor. No, it should be a German razor, a Solingen razor from Solingen. That's the best. It's Escher, it's Ralph Aust. They are the best razors you can get for money, and so on and so on and so on. Everyone is just talking, thinking they know everything about straight razor shaving. And when you finally start to understand that there is a lot of things about straight razor shaving, just to pick one straight razor to use, then there's another thing. You have to strop it. And everyone, you should have a leather strop with a linen strop to use, or you should have this is a kangaroo strop, or it should be a horsehair strop, and so on. And you get even more confused. And when you have a strop, you have to have paste on it. You can use that straight razor for much more longer. You can palm strop. You can use a newspaper to strop on, and you know, everything starts to build up, and you get even more and more information, or even more and more you don't really know what this straight razor thing is about. And then it start about talk about how many laps you have to do on the strop with your straight razor. And you have the Japanese strop, it's the best strop, and you have to do 50 laps on this and 20 laps on that side. And when you have done that, you have to do this and do that, and these numbers and everything just, oh. And then the last question is, how do I maintain my straight razor? How do I keep it clean? Oh, you have to, after each shave, you have to clean it thoroughly, use paper everywhere, and you have to oil them in, and you have to do this, and you have to do this. And that's very important, because you get rust on the edge, and you get rust on the pins, and you don't have to have water on it. You should never ever use this razor, because it's not waterproof, and you know, all these things. And then when you think this is too much, that's not enough. If you're a straight razor shaver, you have to have stones. You have to have 5,000 grit stones. You have to have 8,000 grit stone, or maybe 10,000 or 15,000. What the heck is 15,000 grit stone, or what the heck is 8,000 grit stone? And you have to have finishing stone. Have to be a G-knot. That's the best thing you can get. Or you have to have this stone. It's another stone you have. Or you have to some slates, and you have to have slower stone to use on the, and everything just start to build up, and then you think, I would never ever use a straight razor in my life, and that's too much information. You see here what I'm talking about. You see lots of words flying over in the air, and that's the information you get from people when they start to look at the information on YouTube and on internet and talk to people. You have to have this, you have to have that, and so on and so on. I would say skip everything you heard, skip everything I said. There is some things, I think, my experience in straight razor shaving, and that's not so many years, but the thing I have learned is this Sive Hellestein razor. Now I'm just going to get a little bit serious here. I'm talking about what actually is most important. Is this razor, Sive Hellestein with ivory scholars, 5/8 rounded tip with special thumb grips. I love this razor. Is this razor better than this small razor right here? Or is that razor better than this here? If you are a beginner, remember that. If you are a beginner, which razor is the best? I can tell you, no chance at all. The only thing I can say to you is that the more something happened, I don't know. Just a moment. Vad hände här? Vad gjorde du? Yes. My daughter just dropped a brush. It sounded like a hair was breaking loose. That's no problem. One more time. What is the most important for a straight razor to work? In my opinion, I should say, this is maybe not others' opinion, but in my opinion, it's the thing up there, the edge, not the size of the razor. The edge is the most important thing, and the important thing is it should be honed properly and it should be sharp. That's the only thing that's important, in my opinion. Yeah, if you look at this one, nice pointy thing there. Could be an issue. You can always mute that if you have this kind of razor. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a rounded tip razor like this, but that point could be sharp as hell too. But if you get a razor that is honed properly and have this type of edge or profile to it, a little bit smile and so on, blah 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 blah, and that's really sharp. As long as that edge is really sharp, you can always mute that edge. So it doesn't matter if it's a sharp point or if it's a square point, or it's a rounded point, or with a barber's notch. All these razors I got, this little shorty from JJ, that edge, I always mute that, because I don't have that much skills, in my opinion, to have a confident, easy shave with those short things on my face. So I always mute it. I always get small nicks, not always, but I feel that I got these nicks. So the most important thing, it doesn't matter what kind of razor you have. It can be a vintage razor, it could be a brand new razor. It have to be shave ready And when I mean shave ready, it have to actually be not buy a straight razor from internet like this one from Geese and Forstoff from the fabric or the seller says it was shave ready. This wasn't shave ready. I have actually had one razor I bought. It was a Ralph Aust razor that was shave ready, and that is the only razor I got shave ready from when I bought it. Rest I have honed or done something to the edge. Maybe that's wrong, I don't know. Maybe there is more, I don't know. I haven't tried so many razors, I don't know. I have bought some new, I have vintage razors and so on. But the only thing is the edge, that the edge is shave ready. There is nothing that's right or wrong about sizes, about the shape of the straight razor when you start to begin. Get one razor with an edge that is honed properly and shave ready from a honer you have heard of, know about, and know that the edge is all okay. Then you're safe. You don't have to worry about nothing else. Nothing else. That's the only thing. A razor, doesn't matter if it's vintage, new, old, whatever it is. It's a 6/8, 5/8, rounded tip, whatever it is. As long as it's a sharp edge on it, that's the most important thing. So let's say I get this razor, and it's a straight razor from, of course I have to show this because it's my favorite razor. 5/8 razor with a rounded tip. Doesn't matter if it's a 5/8 or 6/8 or 8/8. As long as you like the razor, I think it's a nice razor. And that razor have a sharp, keen edge. Then you're safe with that. That's the only information you have to know to start to do your shaves, of course. The technique of shaving there, that's much more important than the what do you say, the style of razor you got, because that's doesn't matter if I use this razor. I have this shaving butcher, I have this JJ Shorty, or I have this gold dollar razor. It doesn't matter what razor I use, it's always me doing the shave, and if the edge is sharp, I'm going to get the good results of the shave. And that's another thing I'm going to talk about in a later video. This time I'm just going to talk about to pick a straight razor. So the technique how to shave is the same with these straight razors. The feeling is different, of course, if you are used to do straight razor shaves. If you are a beginner, it doesn't matter. You can't feel the different from a wedge razor maybe and a hollow gun. Maybe could, but you know, it's a subtle things. You can't feel it different by a synthetic edge or a Gillette edge if you're a beginner. The only thing is it's sharp, and then you can start to do your shave. And talking about shaving technique, going to be on a later video, as told you. Another thing you have to know is stropping. You don't have to have these kind of strops with leather strops and other things. You have to have something to strop, because stropping is very important. You can palm strop on your palm. Take a razor like this Geese and Forstoff and palm strop. You strop it like this. It works. You can palm strop on your arm here like that. That works too, but this could be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. But you don't have to buy a strop from the beginning. You can use a newspaper to strop on. You can get a board with a piece of leather you glue on that board and use a palm strop like that, a strop like that. But if you want to buy a strop, buy a cheaper strop. There are plenty of cheaper strops that are smaller. Look at this one and this one. This is much smaller than the other one. I prefer this. Not the perfect size, but it's a gift from a friend from Australia that made this strop by himself. So I like this strop very much. So you don't have to buy an expensive strop for plenty of money. If you have the money, buy it. If you have a lot of money, you like Wayne & Butcher razor, buy it. If you want to have a brand new 4-stroke razor, buy it. But it's not necessary. The necessary is to have a straight razor that is sharp, with no pointy thing that's sharp that can cut you some places on the faces. And you have to have something to strop on. Newspaper works from the beginning. You don't have to buy a strop from the beginning. But if you want to buy a strop and you're not confident if you want to do these straight razor shaves in the future, buy a cheaper strop. And if you manage to catch that strop, I have destroyed a couple of strops myself. It doesn't matter if it's a cheaper strop for $30. If you buy a strop for $400, you maybe don't want to cut that strop. I don't know if there's so expensive strop, but probably there is, I don't know. So that's the two things you have to think about. A straight razor, doesn't matter how it looks. The only thing is the edge is sharp and you have something to strop on, because you have to strop, and that's important, because when you strop you keep that edge sharp and lined, and lost for much more longer. How much you're going to strop, it depends on what kind of strop you have, and that's personal thing. People say 50 strops on the leather side and 20 strops on the linen side. I don't know. I use 50 strop every time before I start to shave on the leather side, and 15 strops laps on the linen side after the shave. That's my routine. You maybe do more or less, it's not so important. If you use newspaper, do 30, 50, 60, 800, doesn't matter. Do your stropping on something. And of course, if you got a better strop, then you have to know the different feeling of these strops. So it's not so important in the beginning. Learn the strop is another thing you have to learn. But you don't have to have a strop to start your straight razor shave. What more can I say? Yeah, I was talking about stones. This is two finishing stones. If you're straight razor shaver, your first straight razor shaving, you don't have to buy stones. That's if you want to maintain you holding straight razors by yourself. And if you have a good edge on that, you can use these to refresh the edge. You don't have to have a lot of other stones. And if you don't want to refresh your edge after 30, 40, 50 shaves maybe, or something like that, you don't have to have stones. Send those straight razors away to home to another person that's a owner. So you don't have to buy stones. So what do you need? Actually, you need straight razor, nothing else. You got newspapers at home. Maybe you got a piece of leather that's flat and so on. You can use that. That's the most thing. Get this razor honed properly and use that. Keep it simple. Nothing fancy. A straight razor, doesn't matter how it looks. A straight razor with a great edge works fine for everyone. And I know a lot of mumbling about straight razors. I know I could stand here and talk about straight razors for several hours, no problem, up to 18.5 minutes already, and I haven't said anything for important things. I just have been mumbling. But think about that. Do you really have to have a fancy, if I change the subject a little bit, do you have to have a fancy car to drive to the mall and back to buy some food or whatever you want to do, or do a trip somewhere? Do you have to have a fancy car, a BMW, Volvo, brand new, or do you have to have a van or whatever you want, American muscle car, whatever it is? Or do you just need a car? And what is the perfect new beginner car? Depends on who you ask, depends on how much money you get. You can use a Fiat Uno, you can use an old Ford or whatever you want. It's a car, you got it home to the mall and back. You want to do a straight razor shave, you have to have a razor that's sharp, that you got to cut your whiskers off. It doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter how this car looks, how expensive it is. It doesn't matter. It takes you from A to B and from B to A. So that's the same thing. There is nothing that's a beginner razor or a beginner car, in my opinion. This is only my opinion. So just think about it. Get a straight razor. It doesn't matter how it looks. If it's vintage, if you like it, you like it. Get it home and use it, and that's simple as that. Don't have to be so fucking annoying looking and listening to all people say you have to have this, you have to be this kind of razor. Yeah, if people ask me, I always say, not because this is my favorite size, but I always say 5'8", size is good, rounded tip, because often these rounded tip are not sharp at the edge. This doesn't look so intimidated, or what I say, you get more afraid of this one than this. So this is kinder to the eye if you compare this. Oh, I'm going to take this big razor to my face. This is not so big. So this it's a mental thing. It doesn't matter which size you use, and if there is a little bit rust, it doesn't matter, as long as the edge is sharp and good. That's the most important thing. Now I have talked for over 20 minutes and I haven't still said so much things. So next video there, by the way, I'm going to talk about how to do your straight razors and what to think about when what you have to think about when you do your straight razor shaves. There's some things, in my opinion, 2, maybe 3 things that's very important. Everything else about that straight razor shaving on your face is bonus if you can learn. It's a thing you have to know your skin and know everything and so on. But there's 2, 3 fundamental things you have to think about when you straight razor shave, and I'm going to talk about it in the next video. And I think I'm going to do a 3rd video talking about how to maintain the razor you got, or the razors you got, why you do certain things and why you have to do certain things in different places where you live and so on. And I'll talk a little bit about stropping and so on, why you have to strop and everything like that. That's more about maintaining your straight razor. If you need a stone, and if you got the stone, what can you do with the stones and so on, and do you need some stones, and you know, everything about it. More about maintaining, more about that sort of discussions. But next video is going to only be me with Larry on my face and start to talk about the actual shave. What's the most important thing? So for today, get a straight razor. It doesn't matter. This works just as fine as there we got it. This way the butcher. 2 different sizes, very small. It works as good as this. I can't feel much different by the results after the shave. Meanwhile I shave them, by the way, that's another feeling, but it gets the same results, and you're gonna get close shave by this if you got the right technique. So get a straight razor, doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's sharp, and that's the most important thing. A straight razor with a sharp edge beats everything about straight razor shaving. As long as you can remember that, a sharp edge, only thing, the most important thing. Second thing is your technique, and that's what we're going to talk about after this video or the next coming video. And maintaining your razor is the 3rd thing you're going to hear me talk about in the 3rd video. Maybe I do more, I don't know. I hope you like this video. I know it's a very long video. I usually do 50 minutes videos. I try to talk as much as I could, and you hopefully get something out of this a little bit longer video. And I hope you liked it. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. If you like it, thumbs up. If you want to comment something and hear more of me talk about something in the coming videos in the future, just comment in this video, and you know the drill. You do whatever you want. Thank you for watching, everybody. Hope you're gonna have a great week. Now I'm gonna edit this video, and maybe I can do a shave. I don't know. We shall see. At least I'm gonna do a shave tomorrow. See you later. Bye bye for long. Bye bye.